There are two issues that tend to come up in discussions that I've had with parents regarding reading aloud to their toddlers and preschoolers. These things may seem to be obstacles, but they really don't need to be. The first perceived obstacle that I often hear from parents is their child will simply not sit still. Once a baby or a toddler begins to walk, we all know that the world opens up to them, and there are all kinds of things that they want to do and see, explore, and play with. So it's really natural that it's harder for them to sit still and listen to a story often. So two things here. First of all, it's often a good idea to try to catch your child when they're in a quieter state. Maybe they've just woken up from a nap, or maybe it's just before bedtime, a time when they're winding down. But even times like that, you may find that they're reluctant to sit. They want to be moving. They want to be doing something else. That's okay. What you can do is simply read anyway. They will be listening. In fact, they may even eventually wander over and become engaged. Here's an example of that. In this clip that I'm about to show you, we see Andre once again, but Andre is now nearly 18 months old. It's bedtime, and this time Daddy's reading to him. Mommy's there enjoying this time too, but it's Daddy who's reading The Little Engine That Could, which is a great read aloud. In fact, I believe it's the first one that Dolly Parton's Imagination Library gifts to its children who sign up for the program. Anyway, you're going to see that it's bedtime and Andre is really busy and interested in playing with his toy. But that doesn't stop Daddy. Daddy reads anyway. And as you'll see, what eventually happens is that Andre will wander over because he becomes interested in the fact that there's an airplane in the story. And Andre happens to be obsessed with airplanes at this stage of his life. So this draws him in, and he becomes very engaged in what's happening. And you'll be amazed to see how his vocabulary has grown. He's talking now, and he's learning the names of things. His engagement even goes so far as to direct Daddy. As you'll see, he puts his hand on Daddy's hand and directs Daddy's hand to point to different objects in the story and name them. And then Andre names them too. Have a watch.
Ding dong, ding dong. A little train rumbled over the tracks. She was a happy little train. Cars were filled with stuffed animals. Toy animals. Oh, there is an airplane on that page.
Good eye.
But what else is there? There's a stuffed elephant. There's an airplane. I also see a little toy monkey. Bear, excuse me. A rocket, a giraffe, and the funniest little toy clown you ever saw. That's the elephant who says, oh, there's the airplane on that page. Yep. It flew from over there to over here, we think. But that was not all. Some cars were filled with good things for boys and girls to eat. Gold and oranges. Red-cheeked apple. Bottles of milk and even lollipops for after-meal treats. Apple. Lollipop. Ice cream. Milk. Lollipop. I've never seen those.
Really?
Ice cream. Ice cream. Orange. You know that. Lollipop for after-meal treats. Yellow lollipop. Orange. Apple. So clever, Andre. No wonder you learned so much. Anything else you want? Oh, and these are peppermints. Peppermint. Yeah. Peppermint. Those are peppermints. What? Oh, it's not a ball. It's a peppermint.
So many important things going on here. I think the first thing to note is that Andre's dad, Rory, is completely engaged in the story, and that this is absolutely essential for a child to become engaged. So even though your child might be busy doing something else, you can know that they're listening, they're paying attention. And if it's something that if the book is something that you're actually engaged with, that is going to draw them in. The second thing I want to note is the extraordinary vocabulary development that we can see here that's going on when we read to a child. It sort of appears that peppermint might be a new word for Andre. He may be learning this for the first time. And it's such a reminder that reading opens doors into words and vocabulary and into the world that we might not otherwise be able to introduce children to. The second issue that often comes up as a potential obstacle for parents reading aloud to their children has to do with language or cultural differences. If a parent is not a native English speaker or doesn't have English, what are they to do to develop this wonderful habit with their child? Well, I would say to that it's absolutely fine to simply use the pictures as a guide to tell them the story in your own language. That is absolutely an important and fun thing that you can do. The second might be to actually access audiobooks in English and use those as your guide when you read with your child. Using audiobooks in English will help both the parent and the child with developing their English skills too. Cultural issues may have to do with a parent who simply has not been exposed to reading aloud. Maybe their parent didn't read aloud to them, or maybe it's just for whatever reason outside their comfort zone. What I would say to them is just go ahead and jump in and remind yourself that what's important here is the feeling that comes across to your child. And if you are making an effort to connect with them and introduce them to the world of books, and it may be new to you too, that is the thing that's really important. And they will know that.